Okay. Okay, good evening and welcome to the June 7th, 2021 Public Council meeting. Can I have roll call, please?
Councilman Sakala.
Here.
Councilman Messeri.
Here.
Councilman Zakelli.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Tinella.
Here.
Mayor Peterson.
Here, please rise for the flag salute.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sorry. Adequate notice of this meeting was duly provided to the Verona Cedar Grove Times and the Star Ledger by email and published in an annual schedule of meetings December 24th, 2020, filed with the Township Clerk and posted on the public bulletin board in the municipal building lobby in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act. Item 2 is extraordinary business of the Township Council, certification of municipal election.
I hereby certify that the following were duly elected as council members at the May 11th municipal election with the following results. Joseph Zakelli, 610 votes. Kerry Peterson, 607 votes. Melissa Skavich, 587 votes.
Okay, thank you, Kathy. Item 3, approval of minutes. I could take these together, right?
Yes.
Okay. Item A, to consider approval of minutes of regular public meeting, May 3rd, 2021, and B, to consider approval of minutes of special public meeting, May 17th, 2021.
Mayor, I make a motion to approve both sets of minutes.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilman Sakala.
Yes.
Councilman Messeri.
Yes.
Councilman Zakelli.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Tinella.
Yes.
Mayor Peterson.
Yes. Item 4, public hearing. A, is to consider adoption of pending ordinance number 20-871, ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limits and to establish a cap bank.
You can open up the public.
Oh, I'm sorry. This portion of the meeting is opened up to the public. Anyone who wants to be heard on this item and this item only? Seeing none, do I have a motion?
Mayor, I move for the adoption of pending ordinance number 21-871 to be published in the Verona Cedar Grove Times as a passed ordinance to take effect as prescribed by law.
Thank you.
I'll second, Mayor.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
I'm sorry. Peter, did you second?
I did.
Councilman Sakala.
Yes.
Councilman Messeri.
Yes.
Councilman Zakelli.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Tinella.
Yes.
Mayor Peterson.
Yes. Item B is to consider adoption of pending bond ordinance number 21-872, various capital improvements. Any members of the audience wishing to be heard on this item and this item only? Seeing none, I ask for a motion.
Mayor, I move for the adoption of pending bond ordinance number 21-872 to be published in the Verona Cedar Grove Times as a passed ordinance to take effect as prescribed by law.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you.
Mayor, just under discussion, can Mr. Tucci just give an overview of what we're
Yep.
approving here?
This is our general account capital bonding ordinance. It's in the amount of $1,157,000. If you want, Deputy Mayor, I could go over the list real quickly.
You want to? Yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
great, Mayor.
Just to explain what that appropriation makes up. It's for $30,000 for police conversion equipment, $200,000 for the township roadway overlay program, repaving the roadways, acquisition of turf management equipment for Panther Park, $15,000, acquisition of a new tandem dump truck, $200,000, installation of bocce court lighting and park benches, $15,000, acquisition of fire department safety equipment, $8,000, our annual tree replanting program, $40,000, replacement of town hall roof and cupola, $300,000, North End Firehouse Architectural Services, $125,000, curb and sidewalk replacement, which is an annual program, $12,000, Brunswick Roadway Design, which is an NDA DOT grant, that's $38,000. Acquisition of a new pickup truck for the Department of Public Works, $40,000. Acquisition of new computer hardware and software equipment, $12,000. Cedar Grove Community Center plans, $100,000. Replacement of windows at Town Hall, which this should be the last piece of it, $10,000. And the last appropriation is for $70,000 for turnout equipment for the Cedar Grove Fire Department.
Thank you very much. Okay, thanks.
Councilman Sakala?
Yes.
Councilman Messeri?
Yes.
Councilman Zakelli?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Tenella?
Yes.
Mayor Peterson?
Yes. Item C, to consider adoption of pending bond ordinance number 21-873, various water utility improvements. Anyone wishing to be heard on this item only? Seeing none, I ask for a motion.
I'll give a quick overview before
Go ahead.
we do that.
Okay.
Just to stay consistent. This bonding ordinance is only for $105,000. It's for the Township Water Department. Annual leak detection survey, which we do every year, done in the middle of the night, to check the town, any leaks in our system, $15,000, and $90,000 for replacement water meters. That's it.
Okay, thank you. Do I have a motion?
Mayor, I move for the adoption of pending bond ordinance number 21-873 to be published in the Verona Cedar Grove Times as a passed ordinance to take effect as prescribed by law.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilman Sakala?
Yes.
Councilman Messeri?
Yes.
Councilman Zakelli?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Tenella?
Yes.
Mayor Peterson?
Yes. Item D, to consider adoption of pending bond ordinance number 21-874, various sewer utility improvements. Do you want to?
Yeah, I'll give you a quick overview on that. This one is for $400,000. It's for the sewer utility. $200,000 are for replacement of the RBCs, which are rotating biological contactors. As I explained the last time, there's the little Quonset huts that you see. They're big wheels. There are bacteria on it. As the sewage comes through, they stick on the wheel. The bacteria eats all the solids, and you're remaining with just sludge. So they're being replaced systematically. Every 10 to 15 years, we replace one bank or two. There's probably about 6 to 8 banks of RBCs there. And there's $200,000 for sewer infiltration projects. And you might ask, what is a sewer infiltration project? Underneath the ground, there's a series of pipes, sanitary and storm sewer. And what happens is when your sanitary sewer starts leaking, has cracks in the pipes, it takes natural groundwater. When that goes into the system, it goes to the sewage treatment plant, and it costs us to clean water. So what happens is we go through, we television all the lines in town, or we pick where we think is bad, and we televise it and see where their cracks are, and then we go in and we make repairs. $200,000 for that.
Okay.
And that's it.
Great, thank you. Do I have a motion?
Mayor, I move for the adoption of pending ordinance 21-874 to be published in the Verona Cedar Grove Times as a passed ordinance to take effect but prescribed by law.
Second.
Thank you. Can I have roll call, please?
Councilman Sakala?
Yes.
Councilman Messeri?
Yes.
Councilman Zakelli?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Tenella?
Yes.
Mayor Peterson?
Yes. Item 5, disposition of bid. A is to consider a resolution concerning award of bid for loading, transportation, and removal of leaves.
Be it resolved that the award of bid be made to Caputo Brothers Tree Service for a one-year contract term.
Okay, thank you. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve, Mayor.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilman Sakala?
Yes.
Councilman Messeri?
Yes.
Councilman Zakelli?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Tenella?
Yes.
Mayor Peterson?
Yes.
Just
I-
for informational purposes,
Go ahead.
that's at $7.50 a cubic yard for the leaves.
Oh, okay, that's good. Item B, to consider resolution concerning rejection of bid for Rutgers Ave water main replacement.
Be it resolved that all bids for the Rutgers Ave water main replacement be rejected in accordance with NJSA 40A:11-13.2B.
Okay, thank you very much.
Mayor, I make a motion to approve this resolution.
Thank you,
Second.
thank you.
Just an explanation.
Yeah.
With every project that we do in town, before the project is started, there's an engineer's estimate. And the funding is based on the engineer's estimate. When the bid comes in above the engineer's estimate, under the law, that's grounds for rejection of the bid. What we'll do is we'll go back, take a look at the specs again, and we'll send it out to rebid.
Okay,
All right.
thank you for that. Okay. Can I have roll call, please?
Councilman Sakala?
Yes.
Councilman Messeri?
Yes.
Councilman Zakelli?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Tenella?
Yes.
Mayor Peterson?
Yes. Item 6, the meeting is now open to residents of the township wishing to be heard on any item on the agenda. Okay. Item 7, reports of township officials. A, Township Manager. Good evening, Mr. Tucci.
Good evening, Mayor. First item I have, I just want to thank everyone who participated in this year's 30th Annual Clean Sweep Program. We had 7 organizations. The governing body was there also, and I think we caught a good day. You know, it was beautiful out. Everybody got a chance to go out and clean the town up, even though I got a lot of comments, including Councilman Kelly, who told me, well, we went out there, it wasn't much to clean up because the Department of Public Works cleaned up everything before we got there. But again, that's a testament to our workers, but it's good to get everybody in the community back together. With COVID and everything else going on, last year we did not have this program, and we did not get the funding that we normally get because that's been discontinued, at least for this year, but you funded it this year because you wanted it to happen, so thank you for that. Next, we have a letter in the packet from a resident, Mr. Wood, requesting that he donate the pride flag for whatever the council decides later on in the meeting. I want to thank Mr. Wood, but unfortunately, we already purchased a flag. I have it on my desk. The governing body had purchased that before Mr. Wood had sent the letter in, but I just want to thank him for a generous offer. Also, there's a memo. It's just a status memo regarding the Cedar Grove Ambulance and Rescue Squad. As we discussed when we entered back into the agreement with them, we were going to meet occasionally just to discuss issues, and we had a good meeting going back and forth, but, you know, they're coming along fine, and hopefully, you know, they'll do better as we move along. Also, Rutgers Avenue water main, we already discussed that issue. In the packet also, there is a request for 2 block parties, one on Clara Place and one on Brookshire, on the dates requested with the governing body's concurrence. We'll issue letters authorizing those to happen. Everybody okay with that?
Yes. Yep.
And the last thing is a bit of a bittersweet announcement. Police Chief Joe Sarasa came up to me today and announced that he's going to be retiring. And because of his terminal time, he will be at the door here. His last physical day, June 25th. And his actual retirement date, not termination, is January 1 of 2022. I wish him the best. I'm sorry to see him go. The man is dedicated to the town. He's dedicated to the culture of the town. Does everything that we ask of him and sometimes more. So I'm happy for him and his family. I'm sad for us that he's leaving, but everybody knows when it's their time. So we wish you the best, Joe Sarasa, if you're listening here tonight. And with that, that's all I have for this.
Thank you very much. And yes, I agree. Joe has done a lot for this town, not only serving on the police department, also on the fire department. He's a very dedicated resident, so we wish him all the best, and I'm sure we'll be hopefully honoring him in some way before he goes. Maybe we wouldn't be able to do it at the next meeting, would we? We could bring him back, right, Mr. Tucci, after? Yeah, we'll do that. We definitely
He's always around, so.
I don't know if we could get that done, but we'll do it sometime in July, maybe. We'll shoot if no one objects to that. Okay, thank you very much. Township Clerk, good evening, Mrs. Stutz.
Good evening. The only thing I have is a reminder that tomorrow is the primary election. All polls will be open, districts 1 through 10. And the polling hours are 6 a.m. until 8 p.m. tomorrow evening.
Okay, thank you very much. Township Attorney, good evening.
Good evening, Mayor. I'd like to reserve my reports for closed session.
Okay, very good. So you're requesting executive for a reason or what?
Privilege and confidential.
Privilege and, okay.
Pending litigation.
Okay, thank you. Okay, reports of council. Good evening, Councilman Messeri.
Good evening, Mayor. Thank you. Just a few items and acknowledgements. First, I wanted to take the opportunity to thank the Cedar Grove Fire Department for hosting this year's Memorial Day ceremony, honoring all the men and women who made the ultimate sacrifice for service for our country. This is an important day for our community and, of course, our country. And I'm happy that this year we're able to proceed with a public event. I know last year we weren't able to do it. So again, thank you to the fire department and the township for hosting the ceremony. Secondly, just to piggyback off of Mr. Tucci, I also, in my report, wanted to acknowledge the 30th annual Clean Sweep Day. It was a great day for Cedar Grove, and I enjoyed working side by side with my council colleagues and council-elect candidate, who will be sworn in very shortly, Melissa Skavich. And I could show you, Mr. Tucci, so you don't, I was going to say exactly what you just said. We didn't really have a tough job out there because the DPW does such a fantastic job in town keeping Cedar Grove clean, so they made our job a lot easier. Continuing on thanking volunteers and volunteer organizations, I also wanted to acknowledge one of our township's great volunteer groups, Cedar Grove Unico. On May 26th, Cedar Grove Unico held their annual scholarship awards night, and this year they were able to continue the tradition, and they gave 3 scholarships out to our local high school students. And everybody understands how difficult this was. You know, fundraising in the past year has been extremely difficult for these volunteer organizations and non-for-profits. So, you know, it's very encouraging that Cedar Grove Unico was able to do this year. So I just wanted to acknowledge them and thank them for what they do to our community, for our community. Excuse me. Lastly, what I have is the Environmental Commission met last month, and we met in person for the first time, and we were able to greet our new members. So now we do have a full quorum, and we are planning to meet every month. So,
Great.
so that's a positive direction for Environmental Commission. That's all I had, Mayor.
Good, thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Councilman Scala?
No report, Mayor.
No
Thank you.
report, okay. Councilman Sekeli?
No formal report, Mayor, just 2 quick acknowledgements. Cedar Grove has 85% of the population vaccinated. I think that's, Mr. Tucci, correct me if I'm wrong, the 3rd highest in the state?
Third highest.
Yeah, a lot of that goes to good resident Sandra Haynes. She's been working tirelessly to work with the Montclair Health Department, get all the residents vaccinated who need it. She asked I include in my report tonight, she will be able to go to homebound residents if there's anyone in town, but with an 85%, threshold, I don't know how many more people in town need to be vaccinated, but she's been working really hard, and she's very dedicated to that cause. Also, Councilman Massari said it before, we had a great day, clean sweep. It was hot, but we didn't have much work to do. Again, our DPW workers are great. That's all I have, Mayor.
Okay, thank you very much.
No report, Mayor.
No report, okay, thank you. I have a few things. First, I want to, yesterday, I had the privilege to attend the Fire Department Family Day. I was invited by my father-in-law, who's a veteran of the fire department, and we've been going for years and years and years, and it's such a nice day that our fire department, who we always talk about, who, they give so much to this town. They get a day to go down to the park and celebrate with they bring the whole family. They had the water going, kids jumping and playing in the mud and in the water, and it was just a great day. So thank you, Pop, for all that you've done. Also, what else? Oh, Mr. Tucci, I wanted to ask you, just being the weather's been so hot, the library is a designated cooling station, right?
Yes, that's correct.
If that opened and Nixle would go out, like, how would the residents
We would
know?
have a Nixle alert going out. It would also be on our website
Okay,
and on the Facebook page.
so they would just check that, and then
They
they
just
know
check
that
it,
there's
yes.
cooling
Mhm.
stations. Okay, I just wanted to put that out there, and, always check in on, if you can, check in on your elderly neighbors, make sure, it's just kind of, things can happen. So, that is all. Oh, I would also, happy news, I would like to congratulate Chris and Carolyn Lynch on the birth of their daughter. Chris and Carolyn are 2 of our wonderful Cedar Grove cops here in town. Chris Lynch is a lifelong member. His family are, his uncle's a cop, his brother's a cop, his grandfather, would it be his grandfather or his great-grandfather? His grandfather, right? Was he a chief, Pop, or sergeant? Sergeant High. So anyway, long history of Cedar Grove Police in their family, and it's nice to see 2 members of our police department have such joy. So we congratulate them and wish them a life of health and happiness. And I have one more thing. I do have a little bit of a prepared statement this evening I just wanted to be kind of really organized in my thoughts. And at the end, I would like my council colleagues to please share your thoughts and opinions with this. So today, with our first council meeting for the month of June, I wanted to take this opportunity to publicly recognize the month of June as LGBTQ Pride Month in our community. Unlike other dedications and awareness months throughout the year, June Pride Month is truly a celebratory month. The month of June marks a global celebration of Pride each year, and here in Cedar Grove, we are a community that welcomes inclusion and diversity, and we also participate in this celebration. Besides having the honor and privilege of serving as mayor of Cedar Grove, I am a lifelong resident and have raised my family in this community. My entire family is a product of our Cedar Grove school system. I am proud of our diverse community, and I'm honored to celebrate this month with this important recognition. I also wanted to take this opportunity to thank Congresswoman Mikey Sherrill and the Deputy Mayor of Maplewood, Dean Daffis, who were invited and spoke at the Cedar Grove School District's Pride Ceremony and flag raising last week. This was an event planned by the Board of Education, which took place at their facility right across the street. It was an important event for our district and our community, and I'm hopeful that this event will continue to be an annual celebration. Unfortunately, none of the members of this governing body were invited to the school district's Pride Ceremony and flag raising last week, an event that was held to highlight an inclusive community. It is very important to this council and our community to be inclusive of our Board of Ed colleagues. I kindly ask that we extend the invite directly to them as hope that they can join in our community celebration. That said, I would ask this governing body consider recognizing June as Pride Month for our township. In an effort to embrace diversity in our community, I also ask that this governing body consider raising the pride flag as a celebration of pride at one of our township locations. If this governing body agrees, I would personally extend the invitation to all of our community as well as our state and local representatives. So if there's no objections from members?
No objection.
Okay, thank you. So what we could do is just settle on a date and then plan a ceremony. Is that okay,
That's
Mr.
fine.
Tucci? So we'll talk and then we'll set up a date and we'll go forward. And I know we already have
Yes.
the flag. So that is all I have for my report this evening. Thank you all. On to new business. Item A is to consider introduction of pending ordinance number 21-875, amending Chapter 55 of the Township Code entitled Police Department.
An ordinance amending Chapter 55 of the Township Code of the Township of Cedar Grove entitled Police Department.
Thank you. Mr. Tucci, do you want to give
Yeah,
a?
just a brief overview. What the ordinance is about, it's the recreation of the position of police captain. As I announced earlier, the police chief will be retiring. Right now, we do not have the captain's rank. We did away with that probably about 2011, 2012, when we had the 2% cap come in and we had to reduce spending. We always said that when the population increased and there was more supervision needed, we would look at it. Now is the time. Right now, we only have the rank up to lieutenant, and it's hard for one lieutenant to supervise other lieutenants. Normally is a supervisor. So we're recreating the rank of captain, and in the interim period, when Chief Sarras is out from June to the first of the year, I will select the captains from the group of lieutenants or whatever, and when we'll move forward, at least there'll be a superior officer in charge of the department until we get to January, when I'll appoint the new chief at that point.
Okay.
And Mr. Sarras is no longer on the books.
Okay, perfect.
I have a question for Mr. Tucci.
Yep.
And that position is going to remain, Mr. Tucci?
That's going to remain.
So it's just, for the time being, it'll be a supervisor, the leading supervising officer until we have a
You'll have an
chief.
officer in charge, correct. And what'll happen is, there'll be a differential of 8% from the lieutenant to the captain's position, but it'll be eliminating one lieutenant position. So it's only the differential that's going to cost us, not the full captain's salary.
I wanted to take this opportunity, since I missed it completely in my opening report, and it's totally appropriate because it's relevant, but I also wanted to share the mayor's sentiments about the chief, and I think that certainly he deserves the honor and whatever we could do for him. So, good luck, chief, best wishes, and I think that, that this, this ordinance, and I'll make the motion if that's okay. We certainly should move forward and have that position available so we could have the leadership that we need in this township. So if there's no further discussion, Mayor, I will move to introduce pending ordinance 21875 to be published in full in the Star Ledger as a pending ordinance with public hearing scheduled for June 21st, 2021.
Thank you.
Can I just amend that motion? I
Certainly.
apologize. It's going to be published in the Verona Cedar Grove Times.
Okay.
I was able to.
Great work.
Okay.
Second that motion, Mayor.
As amended.
As
Thank
amended.
you. Can I have roll
The
call,
other one will
please?
be the same.
As amended. Can I have roll call, please?
Councilman Sakala?
Yes.
Councilman Masseri?
Yes.
Councilman Zakeli?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Tenard?
Yes.
Mayor Peterson?
Yes. Item B is to consider introduction of pending ordinance number 21-876, 2021 salary grades and ranges, wages and fees of unrepresented employees.
Mayor, I move introduction of pending ordinance number 21-876 to be published in full in the Verona Cedar Grove Times as a pending ordinance with a public hearing scheduled for June 21st, 2021.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you.
Just
Roll.
a brief
Yep.
discussion on it. This is for the salary ordinance for unrepresented employees. Unrepresented employees are the employees here in Town Hall that are not unionized.
Right.
Police Department's union, DPW has an association, so these are everybody except DPW and police. And the proposal is for a 3% across the board.
Right.
increase.
Good. Thank you. Can I have roll call, please?
Councilman Sakala?
Yes.
Councilman Masseri?
Yes.
Councilman Zakeli?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Tenard?
Yes.
Mayor Peterson?
Yes. Item C is to consider resolution concerning estimated tax bills.
Be it resolved that the tax collector is hereby authorized and directed to prepare and issue estimated tax bills for the Township of Cedar Grove for the third installment of 2021 taxes.
Thank you. Do I
I
have-
make a motion to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
Thanks. Roll call, please.
Just explanation.
Yep, sorry.
All right? Estimated tax bills. Why do we do estimated tax bills? The answer is this. The township has to maintain the cash flow so that we can pay our bills. We cannot have the actual tax bill because all the tax rates have not been, whether it be the county, municipal, Board of Education, the rate has not been struck and certified by the county tax board. So what happens is we prepare estimated tax bills, and then at the next quarter's bill, we adjust accordingly. So that's why people cannot just take your back tax bill and multiply it times 4 and say, that's my taxes.
Right.
Because the third quarter is normally a lot different than the rest.
Okay.
So that's the reason why we do it for cash flow, so that we can pay the Board of Education their money, pay the county, their fees that they have coming, and we can have business as usual.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilman Sakala?
Yes.
Councilman Masseri?
Yes.
Councilman Zakeli?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Tenard?
Yes.
Mayor Peterson?
Yes. Item D is to consider resolution concerning purchase of radio equipment and maintenance through New Jersey Cooperative Purchasing Alliance.
Be it resolved that the Township Council authorizes to utilize the New Jersey Cooperative Purchasing Alliance for the purchase of radio equipment and maintenance for the Cedar Grove Police Department from Northeast Communications Incorporated.
Thank you.
Okay, explanation. Why do we purchase through a cooperative? Because what happens is it takes all the legwork out for the township. When we join these cooperatives, they have already done a bid on it globally for everyone. So if you join the cooperative, their bid is recognized by the state of New Jersey, and we're able to stop and don't have to go through the whole bid process with bid specs and reviews and all that. And it kind of saves us money because it saves us a lot of legwork. And the reason why we do this, we already purchased the equipment. We do this so that the auditors have a trail of what we purchased. So there's documentation in the form of a resolution saying that we bought it through this cooperative, and this was the mechanism that we used. So
Right.
that's the reason why we do this.
Yep. Thank you very much for that. Do I have a,
I'll make a motion, Mayor.
thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilman Sakala?
Yes.
Councilman Masseri?
Yes.
Councilman Zakeli?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Tenard?
Yes.
Mayor Peterson?
Yes. Item 9 is approval of bills.
Be it resolved that the summary of bills having been duly audited and found correct are hereby ordered paid in the amount of $588,033.55.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve, Mayor.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilman Sakala?
Yes.
Councilman Masseri?
Yes.
Councilman Zekeli?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor
Yes.
Denine? Mayor Peterson?
Yes. Item 10, the meeting is now open to residents of the township wishing to be heard on any item on or off the agenda concerning township business.
Good evening, Mayor.
Good
Council.
evening.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. County is back in business. We have a lot of things coming up in the next few weeks, beginning with our fishing derbies, which actually start this week, going into next week. The one that is closest here to Cedar Grove will be in Verona Park this Wednesday, June 9th. There's also one on Saturday, June 12th at Grover Cleveland Park. They're an opportunity for kids to come out, and there's some prizes that we give out, and it's a really fun night. So anybody who is looking to participate, the information is on the county parks website.
Great.
We also have a paper shredding event happening on Saturday, June 19th, right here in Cedar Grove on Bradford Avenue at the Public Works Building. Any Essex County resident is welcome to come and bring paper. It'll be just shredded and destroyed at the facility. And we are bringing back our summer music concert series after a break last year. We were able to make some changes, and we will have fireworks on July 1st in Brookdale Park with a rain date of July 2nd. The rest of the series will begin on August 9th. And I'm going to leave copies of these downstairs in the lobby. The box just got delivered to my office today, so you're the first to receive them.
That's what I like to
great.
hear.
Also, I know at our last meeting, there were some questions about the O'Toole Center opening. I believe that'll be opening by the end of next week. And it will probably just have the senior lunch program happening initially as the health department works through some of those logistics with the state.
So no rentals, because we get a lot of inquiries about rentals.
Rentals are still on the fence right now about how we're going to handle those.
Okay.
But seniors are going to start to be welcomed back first for the lunch program.
Very good.
Oh, that's great. Good news. Okay, thank you so much. Anyone else wishing to be heard?
Good evening, Dave Vistering. I live on Rose Terrace. I had a few things I wanted to ask
What-
about.
I'm sorry, sir, if you could just say your address. What
27 Rose
27
Terrace.
Rose, thank you.
So, if you're familiar with the area behind the Burger King, where Clara and Rose intersect with Ira and David, there is no stop sign at the end of the street. So I've been in town for a couple of years, and I've had a few close calls, like no actual accidents, but there just, I think, should be a stop sign there.
So, I'm sorry, just so I understand, so Clara and Rose are parallel.
Yes,
So where,
at the ends of each road where they intersect with.
David or Ira on the top?
Both.
So-
Neither have stop signs
Okay.
at either end of Rose or Clara.
Okay. And that's what your request is, to put a stop sign on?
Yeah, I'm just not sure why it's not there. I've never seen like a blind intersection like that before, where there's no yield sign, there's no solid stop sign, like, you know, the white line, there's no red stop sign. So I assume what the intersection is supposed to be, but there's no clear direction of what's supposed to happen. And then to piggyback off of that, on the corner of Ira and Rose, the house at 6 Rose Terrace has a line of bushes that are right off the sidewalk. So if you're at that intersection on Rose, looking left, you can't see any traffic
okay.
from spring to fall, basically. So you're just kind of inching out, inching out, inching out, and then you can make your turn.
Right.
So just a couple of safety issues there. An additional parking issue, so between the Burger King and the little strip mall there with Yetla's and the Gold Center and the new Clother, Taylor, whatever you're supposed to call it. In the last probably 6 months or so, there's been a lot more construction vehicles and just regular cars parking there, and they are allowed to park there. But I personally have had 3 very close to head-on accidents because people have to take a wide turn, because it's not like a 90-degree intersection. It's you kind of have to go around, then you have the bigger vehicles that are parked in the legal parking spot, but it's just tough intersections to get through.
So they're parked at the top of,
When you're making the right from Pompton onto Sweetwood,
right,
that's where they're parked. So
Okay.
nobody's parked illegally. It's just
Okay.
they're allowed to park there.
but you
just-
can't see.
Right. And
Okay.
it's not so much that you can't see, but when you're making the right, you have to take a wider turn. and then you're into the opposing lane.
Right.
And
Okay.
it's not a, super wide street.
I gotcha. Yep, okay. All right.
Mayor, if I might, what I'll do is, Frank Pumphrey, Lieutenant Pumphrey, is our traffic safety officer.
Okay.
I will have him take a look at all three of these, the stop sign issue, the line of sight on 6 Rose Terrace, and the Sweetwood Corner, to see what recommendations he could give us to possibly improve it.
Okay, thank you. And
Okay.
I understand it's a smaller side street, so I get it's not a main intersection, but it's still.
Yeah, sure.
How much is a stop sign?
Right.
Mayor, may I just make a comment?
Of course.
Mr. Tucci, I do know that, I know that area well. My sister lives there, and my daughter frequently rides her bike there. I know there's a lot of kids in that area. I never noticed the issue with the stop sign, but if since there are a lot of children in that area, and they are constantly on their bikes, I think it's, thank you for sending Lieutenant Pumphrey out there to take a look at it.
I'm a little bit familiar with that area too. My daughter used to live on the corner of Ira and Clara,
Okay.
right there on the corner, so I'm pretty familiar with
The blue house or the white house?
the White House on the corner.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about. They just ground out the stumps of the dead trees. So, so got a couple other things. So first, thank you for the Pride celebration. I know that that was one of the things that had been brought up just in my discussions with other residents. So I think that's a good step, positive step for the town. So thank you. But an additional construction issue. So the repaving on Ozone and the new sidewalks, great, understand why it happened. But what was the notification process? 'Cause the people I talked to that live on the corners that aren't Ozone in that development weren't notified that the construction was happening. So understand that the improvements had to happen. That's totally reasonable. But it just would have been nice to know, like even for me, like
Right.
a young son, so if the early construction's happening, just nice to know something's gonna happen when it happens so we can plan ahead and
Sure.
deal with
So
it.
I believe, Mr. Tucci, we
No,
talked
no,
about that,
what-
because I
what-
did bring that, I raised
Yeah.
that issue.
The people on Ozone were notified by mail, a letter in the mailbox, and before the contractor started, he rang all the bells. I don't know if on the side streets they notified, but the people on Ozone, there was 2 notifications. One was a mailer put in the mailbox, and the second one was a ring at the doorbell the week before they started.
And then I guess in the future, if we could just, I guess consider people that are very
little bit
close.
yeah, I understand.
I understand that there's, but just people. that
But
were
there were notifications for
Okay.
the people on the street, no
And-
doubt.
Okay, that's good. Those aren't the people I talked to. I kind of assumed they got a notification, but, for us on the corners and stuff, it didn't block traffic or anything. We
I
didn't have
get
to
it.
worry about our cars getting out, but just nice to know when stuff's gonna happen. So, I lived in town for about 2 years, and there've been 2, what I would consider 2 pretty anti-Semitic incidents that happened in town. And I understand the incident that happened in South End with the juveniles, so there's not so much that can be discussed about that. And then the recent incident at the temple. So a lot of other towns recently have introduced language or resolutions, supporting the community, and if the town council has issued it, I missed it, that's on me, but just haven't seen as much support, I think, as us in the community would have hoped to see in the last year or so. So just, something to consider. So a couple months ago, there was a resolution that was passed, and if I have the facts wrong, please feel free to correct me, that banned the sale and cultivation of marijuana in town, but still allowed further distribution.
No, not here in Cedar Grove.
That wasn't Cedar, okay, then.
No.
Okay, my mistake.
That's
I thought
okay.
it was in the minutes.
That's okay, no
I
problem.
apologize, so thank you for correcting me. And then the last item I had was, I believe there was a resolution passed in the October 5th meeting censuring the governor, correct?
Censoring the governor?
Censuring
Censuring the governor, okay.
for his executive orders for vote by mail.
Right,
And personally, I think that's pretty ridiculous. It's supposed to be a nonpartisan council, and the state ran the elections the way they were supposed to. Especially following what happened on January 6th, that type of rhetoric, I think, is abhorrent, to be honest. We saw some people lose their lives, people get injured. Our republic was attacked by, right-wing radicals, and, they tried to stop the certification of an election. So I've drafted a resolution kind of removing that censure, and I think that would be a positive step that the town council can take. If you'd like a copy, I'm more than happy to leave it for you.
Sure.
But I just think that that would be a positive step that the town council can take to show that that's not what Cedar Grove is about, and the big lie is not real. So.
Okay, thank you for that.
Yeah, I have a comment there. Mr. Isern, thank you for your comments. Couple things. With regard to the two incidents, what would you have preferred us to do? Well, I wasn't clear on what would you like us to have done with regard to the two incidents that took place in town?
I mean, did the town council do anything?
So we did, after the, if I may.
Yeah, go ahead,
After the one last year at South End, we put out a public statement denouncing anything like that. Do you remember that?
I don't.
Okay, so after that happened at South End School, the entire council put out a statement denouncing any acts, any anti-Semitism. It was a public statement that we issued. So, and then with this last incident, Mr. Tucci, you could probably speak to.
That was turned over to the Essex County Prosecutor's Office, Bias Crimes Unit, who investigated the incident, and they resolved it with the rabbi at the synagogue.
Okay. Did the town put out a statement
Well,
following the incident?
The thing, the incident, I don't know if you can say
The
what the.
township, once it's turned over to the prosecutor's office, only the prosecutor's office can put out statements regarding that incident. So once it's turned over and it's not in our department anymore, we don't follow up on it. All the statements come through the county.
And what is precluding the town council from condemning that action?
Well, they did in the statement.
Well,
That was a separate incident.
but that incident, the report was resolved. I don't have the resolution of that report. So going on in, that it was an anti-Semitic crime, I don't know that. I don't have the investigation. I don't have the results of the investigation. So until I have that information, I can't, what if I'm wrong? What if it was a kid who made a drawing and we don't know? Until I have the results of it, I can't make a public statement. We, of course, denounce anything like that. I called Rabbi as soon as I heard that something happened. I had a conversation with him. We're very proactive on that. But I can't have a council make a public statement on an investigation that's ongoing that I don't have the result of.
Okay, fair enough.
And thank you, Mary. And the other comment you're making, I've been sitting up here a long time, and I completely respect, the public's comments. It's one thing to say, I disagree with the way the council handled something, but to come up here and say, the way we handled something is ridiculous, that's certainly your opinion. I don't agree with it. I wouldn't reverse that on you, saying some of the comments that you made. I wouldn't say, hey, they're ridiculous. I may not agree with them, and I don't. But it's just a way of, we're all volunteers up here doing, the best job that we feel we can. I know with regard to the decision, censuring the governor, I didn't look at it as a partisan decision. He could have been Republican, Democrat, Independent. I didn't agree with it. That's why I was in support of doing that. I didn't tie it to the Capitol riots, and again, your comments,
Capitol riots didn't happen yet.
What's that?
They didn't happen.
Okay, so that's your opinion, but I'm just, okay. I'm just saying, there's a way to, and again, it's the first time I'm seeing you here. I've been here, I've been sitting here for 15 years, the first time you're coming. I'm glad you're here. All I'm saying is, there's a way to comment and disagree with, a board as opposed to saying stuff that we're doing is ridiculous. I just take offense to that, but I respect your opinion. And I'm just telling you, I didn't look at it as a nonpartisan decision, at least on my part. And I'm just one vote. It was a unanimous decision that this board made. And we talked about it a lot, because for me, I think that the election should have been in person. We're doing, again, my opinion, there's a lot of things that were going on. You can go to a lot of different stores that that I think it could have been safe and handled properly. I think, the vote by mail, I just didn't agree with it. And it's this board's right to pass a resolution like that. So I just wanted to comment on it just so you understand where I was coming from on that. That's all I had, Mayor.
Thank you.
Mayor, just to piggyback
Sure.
on Deputy Mayor, I can't speak for anyone but myself on this, on the dais up here, but I didn't see it as a partisan issue either. We weren't playing politics, and we don't play politics up here. We do what we feel is best, in our opinion. We're all elected by the community to do what's best for the citizens of Cedar Grove. And that's what, again, I can't speak for everyone, but that's what I was doing. I think that the election could have been held in person, and I didn't think that the vote by mail was proper at the time in light of what was going on in the community, and what was open and what was not open. So, that was, it was not a partisan decision on my part. And I think probably if the rest of my council colleagues spoke, they'd probably tell you the same thing, because it never came up when we were discussing it. Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome. And I agree, and I think the reason why Deputy Mayor Tinella brought up January 6th is because you brought, I know it's a timeline, I know the election was first, and obviously January 2nd came after that, but you kind of tied it together, so that's why, I think that's where, right?
Yeah,
That's where you come
right.
from. So, and I agree with them, it wasn't, I mean, my career, I'm a nurse, I worked through the pandemic, I worked in the hospital, I worked in the COVID tent, so like I'm frontline, and it was my opinion that being that all of these other things can be going on, that we couldn't go vote, I felt you can have, even if you made a decision, you vote by mail, or you have the opportunity to go vote, but that was just our opinion, it wasn't a partisan thing, and you have every right to just disagree with that and have a different opinion, and I appreciate that, and I truly appreciate you coming out here tonight. Like I said to you in the elevator, we love seeing people here, and I love that you're involved and that you have a voice, and you're always welcome here, so thank you I don't know if you have anything else?
It's not a respect issue, respectfully. I have a problem with the resolution that passed. I don't know anybody on this council, I don't know you personally, so I'm not making a judgment on who you are as people, I'm making a judgment on the resolution you passed. The language in that resolution mimics a lot of awful things that led up to what happened on January 6th, and I think it was a very irresponsible thing that happened. So I'll leave a copy with you, ma'am, but I think that you should strongly consider taking it back. I just don't think it was the right thing to do. So that's all I had. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to be heard? Executive. Okay, item 11, we, do I do it? We're going to go into executive session, whereas Section 8 of the Open Public Meetings Act permits the exclusion of the public from a meeting of the mayor and council in certain circumstances, and whereas the mayor and council of the Township of Cedar Grove are of the opinion that such circumstances exist, now therefore may be it resolved by the mayor and council of the Township of Cedar Grove, County of Essex, State of New Jersey, that 1, the public shall be excluded from discussion of any action of the executive session of the meeting of mayor and council of June 7th, 2021. The general nature of subject matters to be discussed are potential litigation. It is anticipated at this time that the above stated subject matter will be made public as soon thereafter as it is deemed in the public interest to do so, and this resolution shall take effect immediately.
Mayor, I move to go into executive session.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilman Sakala?
Yes.
Councilman Mansari?
Yes.
Councilman Zakelli?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Tinella?
Yes.
Mayor Peterson?
Yes.